Right, first carb. So I'm just trying to make sure that these are okay and they're not going to get damaged, especially the needles. Right, so the first thing to do is to make sure I've actually got the right carburettor. Literally the right one, in this case the right hand side. I want to know it is because I've got the clip on for the oil feed to the rockers. Then we've got a notch, or rather a protuberance, what do you call it, there. Okay, and the notch or the groove there, I think we can see that, can we, in the actual carb body. So okay, that's going to go in, and the main thing is to make sure the needle goes nicely down inside the needle jet, and we can just see that down inside the venturi. There we go. Don't force it down. If you're forcing it down, there's something wrong. Okay, and there we go, and then the throttle just goes on the top there. Put the screws in and we're done. Right, there we are. So all we need to do now is to pop it back on the cylinder head. So we have our lovely Allen screws, and I'm just going to pop that back on. Okay, there we go, finger tight. It does, this Allen key does still foul with the stud. Because what I'm saying is we've removed the rocker box cover, the rear rocker box cover, the exhaust rocker box cover. Now that definitely makes the job easier because it's out of the way, but the Allen key still fouls on the stud, or at least it will do when I get this on a bit tighter. Oh, okay, I've done these Allen screws up as tightly as I can by just using my fingers, and I'm going to have to go onto the Allen key now, and yeah, okay, now it's not bad. I've done this before and it does foul on this stud, but only at the very end of the tightening sequence, like now. Now I can get past it a bit. So I thought I was going to have to cut down an Allen key to miss that stud, but it does foul the stud, but only just, and not enough to, you know, to warrant cutting down another Allen key. There we go. So that's the first one on, which is obviously a lot easier than the second. But we're back on. I'll just make sure they're up tight. Yeah, don't want them too tight, but then we don't want them loose either. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So definitely better taking that exhaust cover off. And I'll put this back on in a minute. But I'm going to attempt to fit the second carb now, which obviously is harder because the first carb's in the way, but same process. Right, carbs are back on again after a struggle, but they're on. Definitely easier with the exhaust tappet cover removed. So tightened up with that shortened Allen screw. Put the clip back in with the rubber grommet for the oil feed to the rocker box. And oh yeah, and on this one, on this bike, we have this balance pipe between the carbs, because on a Mark III, these takeoffs, they actually go up into the air filter. It's an environmental thing that the you know, gases, any unused gases, I think, are reburnt or something. I'm not sure exactly what, but it's all part of that air filter system, which of course we haven't got on this bike, because the old original black box air filter, the huge thing that's on Mark III's, has been replaced with an earlier air filter. I think they're from a Mark II, these ham can or spam can air filters as they're called because of the shape. And so there is no facility to connect these to the air filter. So what they've done on this one, they've put this balance pipe in between the two carbs. On mine, I just use like rubber caps to seal them off, so mine are sealed off individually. I'm not sure whether it's better to put the balance pipe in or seal them off individually. Mine runs great, that's all I can say, with the separate caps on. Maybe it's better to put the balance pipe in. I honestly don't know. But I will be using these takeoffs to balance the carbs later on. Right, so I'm going to put the I'm going to put the fuel pipes back on next. So again, I've cleaned them out with some carb cleaner to make sure they're absolutely clean. Note that there is a filter in the bottom here, okay, because that can get blocked. Let's see, what filters have we got? Yeah, so we've got a filter in the fuel tap, and then we've got these filters as well. Yeah, I think those are the filters we do have in the fuel line. So again, I once had a bike, and it was this was blocked. Again, many years ago, from crudding the tank, and again, it was actually my first moped. And it would run okay, but as soon as you sort of went any distance, suddenly it would start misfiring. It wouldn't pull because it was a little bit of fuel was getting through, you know, but it was blocked. So as soon as you like open the throttle and that, it didn't want to know. And that's what it was. That was completely blocked. Right. So don't forget those. And then the banjo bolts, and they need this little fibre washer. Okay, very important little fibre washer to stop them leaking. But generally, if you've got a fibre washer on that's in good condition, they don't leak, much to my surprise, to be honest. I'm just going to make sure they're doubly clear, because they act as like a little sump as well, just like in the bottom of the carbs. All right, I'm going to bolt these back on, and yeah, they should go on. I think they're a Whitworth nut. Right, the fuel line went back on, absolutely no problem. Of course, I was worried that it wouldn't go on. It went absolutely straight in. In the past, I've had them that just can't line those nuts up, but it went straight on. Okay, coke. So we're going to put the sort of front plate of the air cleaner on, which is, it simply just slides over the manifolds. Right, there we go. I've got the sort of front plate on. They've eased those on, and then the ends go over the flange. That screwed on sort of flange on the back of the carbs. This end of the rubbers goes over that flange, which is actually quite easy because you can get your fingers in the back and make sure that it does go over that flange. And here we have the new air filter in place. I've just simply pushed inside the mesh of the filter. The thing to note is that when this comes, this is actually a round filter. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is circular. But you squeeze it quite simply, quite easily, and in it goes, and then miraculously takes the shape of the sort of spam can without any trouble at all. Yeah, I thought, what's this? It's a round filter. Sure, that's the wrong shape, but sure enough, it was round, and in it goes. So I'm just going to clean this outer casing up slightly, and then we'll try and get it in on the bike. Right. So now we're going to try and put the filter in, which in theory it should just go straight in. In practice, it won't. The main thing is to try not to damage it against the frame, or rather damage the frame, because obviously this is a sharp edge. Okay, so I'm going to try and protect it. I don't know how effective this will be, but let's give that a go anyway. Yeah. Okay, let's go in there. Right, that went in okay. That wasn't too bad. The main thing to note was there's obviously a couple of bolts on this back plate that hold it on, and you just have to sort of encourage it past those bolts. And then simply replace the two clamping bolts and go through the two plates. That's great, and then I'm just going to clamp up these two bolts, one either side, making sure the filter is all seated inside its edge, which it is. And that's it. We're kind of done on the carbs. Yeah, so I'm just going to tighten those up and then we'll be done.